Hi, it's Angela. I'm going to go through your V-sit pose. Now, some people know this as a wrist sit. I don't teach it as a wrist sit because you should never really sit on your wrist or let any of that weight rest on there. And that seems to be what happens when people have one hand below, hence the wrist sit, and one hand above. So I teach this as a V-sit with both hands up top. And it can even be progressed to a one-hand V-sit. So, first thing to understand is that everything is a push-pull and a weight balance. So if you're in a V-sit and you have all of your weight on this side of the pole, you have to balance the push and the pull. So where is that? So both hands are going to be on the pole, and as your body weight is hanging off to the side over here, that's going to be pulling. What's pushing into the pole is the back of the thigh here. So you have that push and pull of your body weight. The other thing to note is where your weight shifts. So if you have all of the weight on this side, that's great, it balances your push-pull. But if your weight is all shifted in one direction, then when you take that other leg out to the side, it's not going to be an equal balance of weight. So if you have your leg and your head and everything over here on this side and you just take one leg over, it's not going to be an even seesaw balance. So you have to think about that as you're positioning yourself. This pose is really all about, like I said, the balance of the weight and the push-pull. So if we take that up onto the pole, when you tip to the side, one thing, you want your quads nice and tight, scissoring those legs, toes pointed. You're going to lean out and you want to be folded at the hip so that you're kind of in that nose to knee, your shoulder, knee, and everything is in that same line there. Once you're there, your chest is kind of facing in that direction, so all my weight is tipping that way. If I were to just let that other leg go, I would tend to slide down like I did. So that's one example of how that can be troublesome for some people. The other way that tends to be a problem with the weight balance is that when people go to bring that leg up, they also tend to pull in and their head comes up over top, which is going to bring you down. So you can't have your head over your hips. You have to have all your weight out to the side, and it has to be sort of in that horizontal position. Once I balance the weight of the leg over and I square back up with the ceiling, then that's what's going to lock me in place there. So I take that up onto the pole, tip it out, shoulder and knee in line. I'm in that nice horizontal plane here. Arms are long, they're not really working that hard, they're just sort of catching my weight, okay? The back of this bottom thigh is pushed into the pole. When I take that top leg, I'm going to bring that knee to my top shoulder, and in doing so, I'm going to let my weight also shift to square up with the ceiling, okay? And then I can extend it. So the weight is balanced. Again, when you bring it back in, you want to make sure you're paying attention to that too, because if I pull up, I'm going to go down. So again, finding that horizontal plane and balancing the weight across evenly all the way. So again, I tip, look at that knee, nose to knee, folded at the hip. The other thing I commonly see is that people are a little too flat here. So you're gonna not be balanced on this side of the pole with your weight. So I pull that knee to my shoulder, square up, and extend, okay? V-sit. You can let go with the leg that's on the pole, it's that arm. If you let go with the other one, you're gonna spin or come down. So that's how that could progress to a one-hand V-sit. So not a wrist sit, because again, in the wrist sit, some people can do it very well without sitting on their wrist, but what tends to happen when people are in the wrist sit with that hand below is that they let all their weight drop and sit on that wrist, and that's dangerous to the wrist, okay? So again, that's the hand that you don't necessarily need in your V-sit, okay? All right, good luck with your V-sit. Let me know if you have any questions.